Yo, what's up? It's Jimmy Thunderhands, aka Jimmy Two Hands, Everyday Count 'em. Alright, so this is the third part of my MMA pound for pound power rankings. 1994 part 2, August 1st. Like, so much crap happened. Like, Pancrase has a lot of events, so that's how the list has to shift so much. And they went because they touched UFC. Anyway, let's get into it. The events are listed here. Only one UFC, and there's a rare kind of like offshoot event, Vale Tudo 94. There's the 1994 Part 1 power rankings. That's what they were. And you can see Vernon White and Gerard Gordeau, I can tell you, just take a quick look, they get the boot. All right, because they did like not do good. So they did not stay in the top 10. So that spot's open for someone else in the one of them. Okay, here's how the 94 Part 1, the people from 94 Part 1 did in 1994. Um, It actually says Hoist Gracie went 3-0 in '94, but he goes 4-0. So Hoist Gracie is 7-0 now. Ken Shamrock's 8-2. Funaki's 8-2. Suzuki's 8-1. Ruten's 5-2. Funki's 6-4. Yanagasawa's 4-3. Takahashi 4-3. Vernon White 2-7. Gerard Gordeau 2-1. And take a look to the left side of the screen now. This is the new rankings, and so you can see the top 6 people stayed the same. The bottom 4 people are all new, and that's exactly how they went out. Okay, Hoist Gracie. So he went 3-0 at UFC 1, and now at UFC 2, he goes 4-0. All right, and it's a little bit more impressive because UFC was pretty popular now, and everyone saw him, so they kind of want to kick his butt. So he's pretty well known, and he defeats Remco Pardell and number 9. I think the number 9 was Pat Smith, who we'll talk about later. Both those guys are new. And also, he was listed at 175 pounds. And as another note, he beats Jason DeLucia, and he beat everyone really fast. So he's 7-0 now. And remember, he beat Ken Shamrock before, so it's pretty easy. All right, number 2 is Funaki, Masakatsu Funaki, and so he lost. Oh, so Masakatsu Funaki, you look up there, he's 8-2 now. He went 5-1 this year in like 6 months, and yeah, it's pretty good. And Ken Shamrock, who's number 3. So look at what he did. He went 3-1 this year. And the thing about Ken Shamrock is that he loses to Suzuki, but that was kind of like a weird match. And he beats Boss Rutan, and he beats Ibushi and Nagasawa. So those are pretty good wins. Number 4, Boss Rutan, and Ibushi Nagasawa. But Funaki actually beats Rutan also, and Takaaki Suzuki, and Vernon White, and Kazuo Takahashi. And he even beats one more guy this year. So it's been like 5 months, and he did like the opposite of what Ken Shamrock did last year. So he gets a little bit of a bump over Ken Shamrock, but they're both pretty close. Shamrock did beat Funaki, so there's that. But alright, next. Number 4 is Boss Rutan. So remember in 1993, he only had 2 wins. And this year, he gets 3 wins, but he only lost to Funaki and Shamrock in his 2 losses this year. And he went 17 minutes against Ken Shamrock, so he shows that he's really good on the ground. And for a record for long matches, the longest person to fight against Hoist Gracie was Minoki Ichihara at UFC 2. He went 5 minutes and 8 seconds. It was his first match. Art Jimerson lasted 2 minutes and 8 seconds. Of the 5 other people that fought Hoist Gracie, none of them lasted more than 2 minutes. And the other thing about Boss Rutan is he KO'd the crap out of Minoru Suzuki and Kazuo Takahashi. And now he takes Minoru Suzuki's spot for this. And he had 7 fights so far. 4 of them were KOs. And one of them was a submission, and that was against Vernon White, and he beat him up pretty bad. He's One Punch Man. Kind of like Captain Falcon. Something like that, you know? So he's number 4. Because he beat Minoru Suzuki here. And number 6 is Takaaki Fuki, who Boss Rutan also beat. Alright, I don't think he's lost to anyone below him on this list. He hasn't. He's only lost to two people above him. So Minoru Suzuki was 3-0 before this in '93, and then in 1994 he goes 5-1. He quote unquote beats Ken Shamrock. I don't know about that, but whatever. And he only lost to Boss Rutan. So Boss Rutan gets his spot, but Minoru Suzuki still did really good. He just lost to the only person who could like easily jump him if he beat him. So that's what happened. Number 7 is the New Old New Boys. Both of these men are new to our list. They're old to fighting, and they're new in age. All right. So we have number 7, Manabu Yamada, and he goes 3-0 after entering Pancrase. He was definitely a smaller guy. He competed in shootout at middleweight. He was probably not even 5'10", and not 95 kilograms, probably a little less, but around there. And in shootout, he was 7-4-2, and at one point he had to be the number 1 seed and probably the number 2 seed at the same time. He lost the belt there, and then he enters Pancrase and goes 3-0 in the 6 months or 8 months up to this point. And before this in shootout, he had a 3-0 streak. So at 8-1 1994, he had a record of 10 wins, 4 losses, 2 draws. He had some losses, but he still had 6 more wins than. So this in this situation, he had some okay quality. So quantity, quality, pound for pound ability gets him the number 7 spot. And then we have number 8 as Rickson Gracie, and similar to Royce Gracie, he defeats 3 men in one night in Vale Tudo, Japan in 1994, which happened just like 2 days before the cutoff for this list. And the people he beat aren't particularly notable, but he does beat 3 of them in one night, and it seemed like if you probably give him a couple more, he could do the same thing. It's kind of similar to Hoist, but maybe even a little bit more intimidating looking. I don't think he's as good as Hoist, obviously, but he does do good enough to earn himself a spot. We have number 9, Remco Pardell. Now, Remco Pardell fought in UFC 2. He didn't fight in anything before that, which is why he enters. This is the first list. He's a large guy, 6'4", 193 centimeters, easily 225 pounds minimum. Probably closer to 240, maybe more than that at UFC 2. And he goes 2-1 in UFC 2, and he loses to Royce Gracie in the quarterfinal round, I think it is, something like that, semifinal. And then he enters Pancrase right after that. And he goes 1-1. I think he loses to Minoru Suzuki. In fact, he does, so it's not that bad of a loss. And Pat Smith did good too, so he only barely beats out the spot, but also in Pancrase, he beats Vernon White, who's number 9 in our former list. And so I kind of like that. That just gives him, he's going out looking for the tough fights. He really was. He had a little bit more skill on the ground, so maybe that gives him the edge. He's 4-2. All right. So he has a win over Pat Smith too. That gives him the edge. Number 10 is Pat Smith, who goes 3-1 in UFC 2. He gets actually around further than Remco Pardell, but probably only because he doesn't meet him as soon. All right, so he goes 3-1 in UFC 2, which means he does do what Royce Gracie did, because he had 3 straight wins, then losses. So he did what Royce Gracie did. He loses to Ken Shamrock in UFC 1, gets knocked out right away. Not terrible for him. He does show good diversity. He wasn't useless on the ground, and he was actually a pro kickboxer, so he made a little bit of money boxing before. So he kind of had that ability to intimidate the wrestlers. The final comparisons and honorable mentions. We'll just number 11 would have been Jason Lucia. He did the same thing in he was in like UFC 1, gets knocked out right away or something. UFC 2 gets 2 wins, knocked out, just like Remco. And then he goes to Pancrase and gets a win, but he's just not at the same level yet. Kazuo Takahashi and Nagasawa get bumped off because they only get like 2 wins over not anybody. Vernon White goes like 1-4 or 1-3 this year, so he gets knocked down. And Katsuro, but he's still better than like random guys, some random bums they bring in to go 0-2 here and there. All right, Katsuomi Inagaki, he gets beat by Vernon White. but he still had some wins. So he might have had like 1 or 2 wins from somewhere. So he kind of keeps his spot on the list. And Gerard Gordeau was only 2-0, but I feel like he's still better than the very rankable Andre Van Den Hutelier. Andre Van Den Hutelier actually beats Vernon White or Katsumi Nagaki. I can't remember which one. So he has like 2 back-to-back wins over one of them and some random guy. And in this portion of the year. So whatever, that gives him the number 17 spot because at least he does have a win over someone who was on a ranking before. So I definitely could put him in number 17, and Gordeau's better than him. Igaki's a little bit more established than Gordeau. White beats Inagaki. Takahashi and Nagasawa beat White. All right, this is the end of the list. Take a look at it again. We have Royce Gracie number 1. Number 2, Masakatsu Funaki 8-2. Number 3, Ken Shamrock 8-2. Number 4, Boss Rutan 5-2. Number 5, Minoru Suzuki 8-1. Number 6, Takaku Fuki 6-4. Number 7, Manabu Yamada 10-4-2. Hickson Gracie 3-0. Remco Pardell number 9 3-2. Pat Smith 4-2. That concludes the third installment of the MMA pound for pound / power rankings for now. 1994 Part 2 up to 8/1/1994.